Shalom. Today we live in the age of technology. We live in the age of information. It's the information superhighway. There's nothing that anybody can't know, practically. It seems like just about any one of us can find out anything that we need to know in seconds. And knowledge, of course, is a great thing. It's a wonderful thing. Question might be, where is it all going? And some people might feel, I have to know everything. I have to know everything. I deserve to know everything. It's interesting that our sages define the character trait of curiosity as being an offshoot of arrogance, of haughtiness. This character trait called sakranut, curiosity, comes from ga'ava, from a person who is actually conceited. It really makes sense because the person is basically saying, what's going on here? What's going on here? I have to know. I need to know. I'm in charge here, so I need to know everything. Of course, the truth is that our sages comment that an aspect Kabbalistically of the original sin, of the eating of the tree of knowledge, was basically, the snake said, if you eat this, then you'll be just like God. You'll know everything. And that is a reflection of this primal desire that everybody has to be in charge, to rule over everything, really to be God, to know everything. And knowledge really does play a major role in that equation. That's why it's called the tree of knowledge. So here we are, we have the internet, we have so much unlimited information at our fingertips, and veritably it seems that all of us could really know everything there is to know. In fact, the motto, the goal of Wikipedia, its stated goal is to be the repository, the sum total of all accumulated human knowledge. And really the question is, can we know everything? So here we are, this week we are reading Parashat Chukat in the book of Numbers, Bamidbar, beginning in chapter 19. And the first thing that we encounter in Parashat Chukat is the ordinance of the red heifer. Everybody knows about Parah Adumah, the red heifer. It's considered to be the greatest mystery in the Torah because its device, how it works, what it really accomplishes is beyond the level of human comprehension. It's called a chok. It's the ultimate of all chukim. Chok is a type of Torah ordinance which God tells us there is a reason for it, but we can never really understand the reason. So we can explore and we can maybe kind of in an amateurish, dilettantish way, we can speculate as to what symbolically the reason for it might be, but we should just never think that this is really the ultimate reason, because he tells us, there is no reason, as far as I'm concerned, Hashem says. This is something that you have to accept on faith, on love, because I said so. Even if other people make fun of you for doing it. There are certain laws in the Torah which make a lot of sense to us. Don't kill, don't steal, give charity. Those are the things that are really necessary for a functioning society, for healthy people. But there are some things that don't make a lot of sense to us. And one of them is the red heifer. Besides the fact we don't understand how it works, why this particular solution should render the impure pure, but the one who accomplished it, who did it, who facilitated the action, who was pure now becomes impure for a time, it's a total conundrum. We don't understand how it works. It is above the level of human reasoning. And there is a tradition that King Solomon is the wisest man who ever walked the earth. He knew everything. He knew the language of the birds. He knew what it meant on a mystical level when a leaf falls from a tree and does a little spiral in the air before it hits the ground. What's the significance? He was able to see future events in these things. He was able to tell the future from the language of creation, from all of the birds and the animals. There's nothing that he didn't know except for one thing. And regarding this, he dedicated a verse in the book of Ecclesiastes. And it's chapter 7, verse 23. He said, I thought I would become wise. I thought that through wisdom I would know everything, but it's far from me. I see that it's far from me. And he was referring to the mystery of the red heifer. Because he knew everything else, but this is something that he wasn't able to comprehend. But when he said that, what do you think his feelings were? Was he feeling upset about it, disappointed, dejected? Was he feeling inadequate? Was he feeling, I wanted to know everything, but I see that there's something that I can't know? That's not the attribute of King Solomon. King Solomon had wisdom, and this is actually the greatest indication of his wisdom, to know that there is something that we can never know, and that is true wisdom. And it's interesting that the red heifer represents so much for the Jewish people, and it's such a central theme of Torah. It's so important for the rebuilding of the Holy Temple. It's the secret to the restoration of purity. And it's totally hinging upon acceptance of the fact that we will never understand it. Actually, there's a tradition that in the future rectified world, a verse in Ezekiel says that Hashem says, I will pour out on you pure waters, and that is actually a reference to an elevated level of knowledge, that in the future everyone will be on the level of Moses, who was the only one who actually did know the secret. But it's not a small matter, it's not a coincidence that the very symbol in Torah of something which we can never know is the secret of the red heifer, which brings about purity, and that King Solomon, who was actually the real Wikipedia, the total repository, the total sum of all accumulated human and divine knowledge, was able to look in the mirror and say, you know what? There's something that you'll never know. And that was wisdom for him, because it's not just about, I need to know everything. What else can I know? I'm great because I know. I'm king. I rule. No. It's based on my love for Hashem, my acceptance, my humility, my realizing the world is so vast. It's so grand. Hashem's interaction with us, the way he runs the universe, it's so totally beyond anything that can be contained in the little vessel of my mind, that the true indication of wisdom is for a person to be able to say, you know what, I have no idea what this is all about. And this is a lesson that we really need in our generation, because there's never been one like ours that seems to know so much, that can know so much, that every child has access to so much information. We have to stop and ask ourselves, how much information? Where is it going? What are we doing with it? And do we think that it makes us into something that we're not? Because we'll never be anything other than servants of Hashem. So it's time we realize that there are certain things, like the Parah Adumah, the red heifer, that Hashem says, you could never know that, but what you can know is, I'm the one that's in charge here.